Chat GPT has released a new function called GPT. Essentially, a GPT is a customized version of Chat GPT that you are able to build without coding. You can train it to do a specific task. So that is all very well, but what can you do with it? In this video, I'm going to tell you about how you could use a GPT in your interior design business. So let's jump in and see where to find it. So now we're in Chat GPT and you should see a screen like this, and what we're looking for is this button here which says Explore. So if you don't see it, it could be that you are not on a paid plan or that it hasn't been released to you yet. So normally we can go and choose between 3.5 or 4, and now we have this Explore tab as well. You could use GPTs to generate a personalized design suggestion or help you lead the client to a booking page. Next, you could create content customized to your business. So creating engaging blog posts, email newsletters, or social media content with information that you feed GPT. You could also develop a tool that suggests design ideas and color schemes based on specific room types or client preferences. Another idea would be to create an AI assistant that provides answers to common interior design questions. You could automate routine tasks like appointment scheduling or follow-up, or use the GPT to organize and prioritize tasks based on project deadlines. Another idea would be to implement a system where GPTs can analyze client feedback to suggest improvements in design or customer service. You could generate reports on client satisfaction and areas for growth. As you can see, there are many ideas for using GPTs in your interior design business. So let's take a look at a few GPTs that I have created and see how they work. But before we do that, please take some time to like and subscribe for more content about the interior design business. First thing that we're going to do is head over to the Explore page. So here is where you will create a GPT, and here are the 4 GPTs that I've already created. So we've got a design inquiry assistant, we've got a professional YouTube advisor for design business coaching, a casual professional interior design coach, and an architectural visualizer specializing in interior design concepts. So you can see they're very much functional based. These could be used in an interior design business. This is clearly for my YouTube channel, and this is intended to be eventually embedded onto a website and used to actually chat with leads that come to an interior design website. So before we have a look at these, I want to show you how to create a GPT. So we just press the plus button, and what happens is the GPT builder will prompt you. So you can actually create your GPT in 2 ways, by using this kind of natural language process, or you can head over to the configure button and configure it. So they both lead you to the same result, but we'll just quickly show you how to use it using the create button. So firstly, you need to tell your GPT what you want it to do. Make a GPT that can help me create content for my interior design business. Okay, so a good way of actually mapping out what you want a GPT to do is to think about the problem that you're trying to solve, and then think about how you want them to work through that problem. So you can see the next step is to give the GPT a name. I'm going to call it Anna. Can I call her Anna? And GPT will then say yes, and then create a profile picture. So this is the little icon that you see that you'll eventually see here and here. So you can adapt this if you want, or if you have a logo, you could hit this button here and actually add a logo in here if you would like. So I'm going to just accept this, and then it is going to let you refine what you want Anna to do. So here you're giving it instructions. So they'll ask you about the particular content that you want to find out. So for example, they say, let's refine her goals. Can you tell me the specific content? She should specialize in a particular type of interior design and so on. So let's say I want Anna to create content about residential design. Okay, focusing on renovation. So this is where you would actually tell it to do something that is aligned with your specific business. If there is something here that you don't like, you need to tell Chat GPT to actually not do that. So for example, in one of my GPTs, it started estimating budgets for clients, which I didn't want it to do. So I said, don't talk about money. You can see here there's a preview. They call this the playground. So this is where you can see some of the prompts that the GPT would give you, and you can test its responses. Now we've created Anna. She appears there. So Anna specializes in apartment renovations with practical, stylish interior design advice. It's not quite what I was asking, but you could then refine it. So you could say Anna only gives an advice which could be used in Instagram carousels if you want. So before we move on, let's go into looking at a couple of the other GPTs that I created. So the first one I wanted to look at is this one called Archie. Archie is an architectural visualizer specializing in interior design concepts, and you can edit the GPT by heading into this menu here and clicking Edit GPT. And the way that you would test is actually complete one of these prompts, but you can also go into the configure page, and you can see this is basically what I have told ChatGPT I want Archie to do. So one of the things is that when you create images in AI, it doesn't necessarily remember your style. What I have done is I've said that I want the lighting to be mainly in the mid-morning because I want that nice warm light, and then I also want to make sure that the images are as photorealistic as possible, so more editorial style. So I've told it that I want it to remember past user interactions, and I want it also to have a particular style, such as contemporary designs incorporating natural, luxurious elements. This is the kind of instructions that you can think of when you actually giving your GPT information. I'm just going to save that, and let's head back over to my design inquiry assistant. And the goal of this in design inquiry assistant is to eventually be embedded into a website. Now, this is not quite as simple as actually building the GPT. In fact, and I'll show you how you would go about doing that. Essentially, if you look at the configuration, I've said that the design inquiry assistant begins interactions with an overview. And so I actually uploaded a document about my interior design business, which actually isn't called designing, it's called something else, but this is just an example document where I just told them about my business, and they have written this introduction, and then the GPT has been trained to ask about timelines, location, budgets, and specific design needs. And the goal of this GPT is to encourage the user to actually go onto a booking page. So after it finds out all this information, It then will direct people to a booking page. You might ask, where does this information go and how can you actually use this information? The way that you would do this is right down here, which is about actions. And essentially what you will eventually be able to do is to link this GPT to your website using a third party like Zapier. Now, unfortunately, it is relatively complex at the moment because you'll have to create an API and then link to things. So you would possibly need a web developer to do it. But it is really interesting that you could actually do this, and then by the time the client makes the booking, you already have collected quite a lot of information about the project. I hope you followed all of this and you have the confidence to experiment with GPTs. As I mentioned before, this is still in beta, so that there will be some development by OpenAI to come. I'll be creating more videos on this topic soon, so make sure you subscribe. See you in the next video.